We're gonna hook this thing up to our heads.
People are gonna rip you down.
We're gonna donate $1,000.
Has that happened to you or no? I mean, you're the best in the world, so. I was like, bro, I can't believe we did this. And he's like, yeah, but guess what, bro? We've been through a lot of
What's up, guys? Bo Nickal here. This is another episode of Bo Gets Better. Y'all might be wondering why I'm on the beach. Well, I'm in Dorado, Puerto Rico. Today, I'm gonna be tapping into the brain of one of the most successful boxers, influencers, and entrepreneurs. That's the problem child himself, Jake Paul. The man has been performing in front of insane audiences and knocking out some of your favorite UFC fighters. I'm excited to tap into his brain. Hey, what's up, guys? Bo Nickal here. Bo Gets Better. I'm with the problem child himself, Jake Paul. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm thinking about changing my nickname to Big Diesel.
Big Diesel?
What do you think?
I saw you jump roping, talking about it earlier today, so yeah. I like it.
Built Ford tough. It was kind of like one of my first original nicknames. I was deciding between Problem Child or Big Diesel, but I'm feeling like Big Diesel this camp. Like I'm feeling like just knocking people out.
I really appreciate you having me down here. You know, it's a very cool opportunity for me. Cool to kind of experience everything that you have going on here with your training situation. And you know, I got you a gift because, like I said, I really appreciate you. And
we've talked about these.
I've been waiting.
I've been waiting.
Some Scrap Life.
No, I love these. Signature on the side. Clean, bro. A lot of boxers are going to the wrestling shoes.
I've noticed that, yeah.
Which is better. The boxing shoes are too like flat. Don't have as much support.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about a few things. I guess first off, being able to come down here, train with you and see what you have going on has been really cool. It honestly reminds me a lot of the situation I have in PA and State College. I started a gym as well, so I have coaches up with me, kind of isolated, kind of like how you are down here. How did that come about?
Yeah, look, I mean, I feel like I lived a crazy life. I did live a crazy life in LA. It's nuts, man. You get like caught up in all of these crazy parties and this lifestyle. It's very fast, so many events. There's a lot of distractions. And I'm the type of person where like I like to be social and have fun and do all the crazy things. And so I needed to like remove myself from all of that when I wanted to be my goal to be a world champion, and that still is my goal. Being here, there's none of that, and so I get to like completely focus on myself. I feel like that's what a lot of successful people do. A lot of the influencers and stuff that have like moved to Los Angeles, it's good for them at first, but then it ends up being like detrimental. I see it with a lot of people and even athletes, bro. Like I would be out there and then you see these NBA players popping into the clubs, like, and then they're losing the next day and shit. I call it Sin City. I know that's like the nickname for Vegas, but I just wanted to get away from all that, build this little getaway with my brother and turn it into like this really good vibe.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. And I feel like the cool thing too is you have like a full team down here. You got your media crew, you got your boxing crew, like you said, your brother's here. So how does it feel to like kind of be creating that? Like you like really created this and made it happen.
It's not easy to like create something like that from scratch. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but I've like had the vision for it down here, because when we got here, it was like me and my brother, we didn't even have this warehouse. We were like, where the f are we gonna train? We were training up the street here in this gym that I now like renovated with my foundation, but we just like knew that this was the place to be, and the boxing scene was really good down here. But now we've got our setup and there's something special about it for sure. And like having the spot, I'm sure you feel the same way. Like being in PA, whenever I'm not here and I'm like trying to train and I just don't have my routine, it's not as powerful. And I learned that in my last fight, like trying to do a camp out of Dubai. It was cool, but when you don't have like your home feeling, even just like little things, like your dog.
Right.
I'm like missing my dog. I'm in Dubai and I don't have my dog. Those little things like neurologically and the neurochemicals of like releasing that comfort, oxytocin, like dopamine, making you feel at home, that makes you rest better. So you can train harder. Like all these little things I'm learning, but it's just a really cool environment.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's really, for me in my perspective, I've always looked at my path as like, I'm kind of trailblazing something. There's haven't really been wrestlers that have come out, started their own training facility, their own gym. It seems really similar for you. You know, you're making your own path. You know, there's nobody that's done what you are trying to do before. There's nobody that's come from your world and started to compete at a high level, a world-class level. Who are you looking up to? Who are you looking to for advice? advice?
Yeah, man, it's tough. Being a trailblazer, like a pioneer in a certain thing, is sometimes not even the best thing. I sometimes like to be the buccaneer. So the pioneers came in, right, and like took over I don't know the story. For the people at home, the pioneers came over, took over the island, and like were the first people there. Then the buccaneers came in and their shit up, took everything from the pioneers. So it's cool to be the pioneer sometimes, but sometimes I like being the buccaneer. But yeah, like right now I'm trailblazing this new wave of like crossover boxing and just like pushing the limits of like what's possible. And I'm 3 years and like 5 months into it, and really lean on my team, like you said, for that experience, that training. But then I'm just pushing myself to my limits, knowing like what my goal is and knowing like how hard it is to accomplish that. It's hard enough to accomplish becoming a world champion just in general, like if you've been doing it your whole life. But it's another thing like when you've just started, with the tools that I have and the talent that I have and the natural athleticism that I have, that if I play all my cards right, stay dedicated, stay focused, that I know I could actually do it. And I think that purpose and showing kids what is possible is really like my ultimate goal, because I think it would be one of the greatest sports stories. Like, look at this kid who was like on Disney Channel while Tyron Woodley was winning the UFC championship. Then he decided to start doing this shit, started knocking people out against all odds, and no one took him seriously. And it was a joke, and it was a joke at first. And showing the kid from Ohio or the next kid from Wisconsin or Pennsylvania or wherever the they're from, that this shit is possible, regardless of what it is that you want to do. If you're obsessed with it and you make smart plays and have a little bit of natural ability, that you can accomplish something. And to just be one of the next generation's inspirations is really like what drives me.
You mentioned earlier, you want to be a role model, you want to be somebody that gives back, and you mentioned your foundation. So how did that come about? And if you want to talk a little bit about how you got into it, I'm very interested.
So I've always loved like philanthropy, and it's been my dad and my mom instilled it in me since like a young age. It was always like, volunteer here, let's go hand out food on Thanksgiving, let's go randomly give out $100 today. My dad would do this thing at Starbucks where he would give $50 to the cashier and say, take $1 off the next 50 people's orders. So like he was always like that, and it rubbed off on me. And I finally got to a place in life where I was able to, make the first donations into my own foundation and hire a team around it. And boxing was what I was super passionate about in terms of like getting more gloves into kids' hands and more gyms open. One of the big problems is cyberbullying specifically, just these like anonymous accounts and people saying things. And I dealt with that when I started to like make my videos, and it like affected me. But then I also was a bully when I was a kid. Like I didn't know any better. You'd almost like don't realize what you're doing at the time. You're young, you're naive. And so I've been on both sides of the coin, where I was a bully and then I got bullied, and I regret bullying these kids. And so I wanted to spread the message like, look, I've been a bully and I've been bullied, and it's not cool, and to straighten up. And I feel like kids will actually listen to me and realize and maybe make some changes. And really boxing gave me the confidence to take a step back and to like not feel the need to demean other people in a sense. And I think that's where bullying comes from, like a lack of self-love and self-confidence. So you're putting other people down to make yourself feel better. And so really just created this foundation to like grow the sport of boxing amongst the youth, but then to like have this message of also like fighting back against bullying. It's been amazing so far. It's been 2 years now. We've opened up 7 gyms, thrown like a dozen events, partner with the WBA now, throwing more and more events, opening more and more gyms, just continuing the mission.
That's amazing. I'm sure the impact that your foundation has had on so many kids is so huge, because I think I see the exact same things as you as far as bullying impacts people, and on kind of the other end of being in a combat sport for my whole life, like competing in wrestling and now competing in MMA, and you competing in boxing, you wrestled too. Being able to do those things and have access to that, it brings a self-confidence that really I don't think other sports can bring, because if you're on a team, right, like other people kind of have to take care of their jobs, you have to take care of your job, and you're all in it together. But if you're the only one out there, if it's just you, and you learn that you can deal with adversity and you can fight through pain and through resistance and stuff, then that confidence, you're gonna not only, I think, if you were a bully, be able to realize that you were making bad decisions, or on the other side of the coin that you can stand up for yourself. So I just think that's literally like the coolest thing ever, to be able to give back now, especially like you're saying in your position where you have all the opportunity in the world to do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's what makes the sport so special, is that, like you said, it's just you, especially in wrestling. Like you're out there in a singlet, like with your showing, like when you're 13, your crush is in the stands, like watching you, and you're like, what the You have to have confidence, otherwise, like, I don't know, I've lost in front of like my crush when I was 13 years old in the singlet, bro, like getting cradled and your balls are in the air. It's not a vibe. Has that happened to you or no? I mean, you're the best in the world, so.
When I look back at my losses that I've had, of course, like I took second at the Olympic trials. My freshman year, I took second at the NCAA championship, and in Madison Square Garden, I lost in front of 20,000 plus people, like my first NCAA championship, and it was super embarrassing, but I feel like now I look back at those situations and I feel a lot of growth and I feel a lot of gratitude towards those, because it sucks to lose. And like if I could go back, a lot of people say I wouldn't change a thing, but if we're talking about it realistically, I would change every one of my life. I want to win. Right?
Yeah.
So let's be real here. Like I would win if I could redo it. You obviously had your first loss, and I'm sure that was very, very difficult to deal with. But what do you feel like you've learned from that? Since then, and then have you had a new level of motivation that you found in yourself?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like you said, is growth. These things happen and the universe like always has a plan. And I'm glad that it happened to me at this point in my life. It's a reality check beyond just the sport. Already I see why this was written in my web of life. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing, because a lot of times things happen in life and you don't realize why until like a decade later or something. So I already see that, and I was actually just talking to like Gus here today about it. And it's like I lost, and it was because of XYZ mistakes outside of the ring and my team and all these different things that now I was able to change and learn from all of those mistakes to get better now, versus like that was the whole problem, is me winning, putting all these people on the canvas, knockout of the year, million, 10 million, 30 million, all this money and shit. And so you get comfortable, and there were so many lessons in the loss and so many things that I needed to change, that now I've done that and learned from, to make me a better man and a better fighter. And so I thank Tommy Fury for beating me. And the universal plan has always been in my favor, because I believe if you have a good heart, a good soul, and are a good person, then life rewards you. And for that reason, the universal plan has always been in my favor. And my friend said it to me the other day. He's like, bro, like, I just bought a new house, and he said, we're sitting there like just looking at this, and my friend's like, bro, God loves you. I've earned that love though. And I think you have to earn love with all of your friends. I'm turning into philosopher right now, but back to the loss thing, it's like that happened for a reason, so that I can get better now in the future. And I've actually gained more conviction on what I know I can accomplish, because I've gotten better as a man inside and outside of the ring, and changed my team, which has elevated me already in a short amount of time. And I've had like 4 or 5 people all separately come up to me and been like, yo, I was here, 3 months ago sparring and like watching you. I already see like you're a different fighter. It's like night and day. I would have rather lost in that exact way to Tommy Fury, split decision, put him on the canvas, than barely beat him, kept on with my same team, probably wouldn't change the team, Probably wouldn't have changed my habits outside of the ring, and then probably would have gotten knocked out at some point. Shout out Johnny Julius, but he has this like pothole theory where you're like driving, you hit a pothole, flat tire, and you're all pissed off. You're like, damn, I got a flat tire. But you don't know if the universe saved you from getting hit by a train, you know, up a mile ahead. That's truly how I feel about the situation, and I think it's a good thing. I think 2 L's make a W.
I like that. Well, yeah, man, thank you for being open and transparent about that, because there's no doubt in my mind that you're gonna be very, very successful moving forward, just with the principles that you're speaking on and how you're approaching your sport, how you're approaching your craft, and who you want to be as a man, right? Like, that's, at the end of the day, you're the same person in the ring, out of the ring all the time. I believe that. And, you know, if you're growing as a person, getting better, improving, then you're going to be doing the same thing as a boxer. So I hope people that watch this and listen to this kind of got to see maybe a little insight into your brain. I like that you were talking about philosophical stuff. I think that's cool, because maybe people don't really know how you think, and I think that's really cool. And, you know, like I said, I appreciate the insight as well. We discussed your foundation, Boxing Bullies. I think that's such a cool thing. You know, in all of my shows, I like to do a couple things, and one of them is a little challenge, a little competition. So what we're gonna do,
I see this already, bro.
We're gonna hook this thing up to our heads, and we're gonna see who can get the most in a row. Whoever loses, we're gonna donate $1,000 to a charity of your choice. Obviously, I know your foundation.
Let's go.
So
I like this.
Let's go. Let's run it, baby. All right.
When I first started boxing, I like tried to do this and I was terrible at it, and it pissed me off, and I've just never done it since. Do we, as real fighters, think that this actually like helps?
No, no shot.
It doesn't, right?
This is what I'm thinking. We're gonna go see who can do the most in the row. Whoever does the most in a row wins.
Take one official one.
I think you shouldn't be able to look.
Oh yeah, he shouldn't watch. He shouldn't know. You gotta plug his ears. Yeah, there we go. Ready? 8. Pretty good. That's pretty good. I was going for a while, bro. Nervous?
Okay.
This has no application to how good you are at fighting.
So I gotta go for like an hour. All right, here we go. Here we go. Shout out Dirk. I think I missed it.
I don't know, bro. All I know, I'm gonna donate regardless. I'm donating.
I'll donate too.
To Boxing Bullies.
I think I got like 6 and then missed. It should just cut to like me all up. Oh, it broke. I hope this wasn't someone's.
So the challenge, I would say, was a success based on the broken headband. But the last thing I do in every show, I call it the equation for success. Basically, what I like to do is have all my guests write out some principles, some concepts, things that they think equal success, like kind of what's got them to where they're at. For me, mine, goals. So knowing what you want, you have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, then you don't really know what you're aiming for. Plus ownership, which is just taking responsibility for all of your actions and everything that goes into it. Plus gratitude, which to me is the foundation for everything that I do. I always try to remain grateful and have appreciation for everything that I've been given, all that God's blessed me with. Combined equals success for me. So I would just love to hear, if you could kind of create your own.
Yeah, look, I share a lot of similar ones to that. Just to add on to that, my dad says this, and it's great. I'm gonna steal this, shout out Greg Paul, but the road to success is always under construction. So it's always changing. Some moments might be easier than others. Some might be harder than others. Some you might be feeling grateful. Some you might be like, why the f under attack from the universe. And so you're always going to be constantly changing and evolving, but the number one thing is relentlessness. When you try to do something great, people are going to rip you down, tear you apart. That's just comes with it. Critics is the biggest thing. You have to have thick skin, push through all of that, and remain committed to your goal and not let any of that get in the way. Easier said than done. It kills most people. So are you made for this? And do you want to achieve your goal more than you want to mope about the critics and all the hard work and all the things you have to do to get to your goal? And that's something that you have to come to terms with within your own mind. Inspiration is a fleeting thing. It's not always there. I don't wake up every morning inspired. They're like, well, how are you so inspired? I'm not inspired. I'm just committed to my goal. That commitment is more important than anything else. Some days I'll wake up and be like, yeah, I'm inspired today. But probably 1 out of every 30 days in training camp am I inspired.
Right.
I'm just committed to the goal and to the outcomes. Cus D'Amato and Mike Tyson came up with this thing. It says, I don't exist, only the mission does. And so f your feelings, f everything else. You don't exist, only the goal does. And if you can get to that point in your life, that'll be pretty powerful.
I love it, man. So what I'm hearing from you is have a mission, be relentless, and it doesn't matter if you're inspired, get after it.
And evolve, commit, and your emotions a lot of the times because it's hard, bro. Don't think it's gonna be easy. There's no shortcuts, so don't think there is.
I definitely got better from this, so
yes.
that's all for Bo Gets Better.
Peace.